The main idea in this call is we want to introduce the sandbox to everyone for the first time, kind of go over what we envision the sandbox to be, what kind of buy-in we want to have from the different ecosystem partners in order to make the sandbox hopefully kind of what we've envisioned it to be, and then to also talk about what the next steps are in terms of actually getting to launch it. So I'm going to kind of start with some of these topics, and then Eunice and Shreyas, they're going to take over, fill in at points, and communicate, their side, their perspective on the same thing. We kind of developed this all together, so it was kind of all three of us that are going to be inputting here. And if we have time at the end, feel free to kind of give us your feedback. Otherwise, we're definitely going to try to keep the conversation going on the forum as more people, as we hope to recruit more people to kind of this project or this idea. So, Eunice, Shreyas, do you guys have anything to add to that?
No, I think we're good. We can get started with the whole presentation.
Okay.
I mean, like Michael, we love to get your feedback, even if we don't have time to call. Please do ensure that voice your concerns, suggestions, opinions, all on the forum.
Yeah.
Or the sandbox.
Or the sandbox itself. That's right. So, okay, so like to get going in the most simple and direct way possible. Many of us have been around the NEAR ecosystem for a while. There was a contributor program, there's a guild program, there's a lot of different initiatives going on. The sandbox is basically the goal to kind of unify the different initiatives into a single place where new people can enter the NEAR ecosystem and they can figure out what guilds are available, they can figure out what opportunities are available, and they can interface with the NEAR team, the different projects in the ecosystem, as well as other people who are interested in learning about NEAR or building things on NEAR. So the high level overview of the sandbox is we want to make it like the digital city of NEAR, right? So where a person can come in with their own background and they can all of a sudden see all of the different projects in the NEAR ecosystem. Maybe the different projects need a little bit of help with something. Maybe the different projects have events going on, competitions, etc. Maybe, there's rolling initiatives for them to partake in, or they can choose to join a guild as they like. They enter the sandbox, and it's this kind of like collaborative hub where they can learn about the different opportunities available, meet people, network, learn about crypto in general, and kind of evolve from there either into their own guild or into a long-term contributor, something of that sort. Eunice, Shreyas, anything you guys would add on top of that?
Yeah, I was just gonna add that in terms of the larger direction of guilds specifically, our focus is going to be on builder and dev guilds. So not necessarily developer as such. Like we're not restricting ourselves to only developer guilds, but in general, how do we enable creators, right? So that's something that we're really working on with the guilds specifically. And now we also realize that, in the past, or like at least even at this point right now, discoverability of guilds is a huge issue. So people keep like randomly applying for a guild, and they don't really know that this is about running a community, and they don't necessarily, they also can't find the different communities that exist that they can possibly participate in. And I see the sandbox becoming this place where they can really get their feet wet into like very different projects within the larger ecosystem. So this is not necessarily just the things by NEAR core, but the larger NEAR ecosystem, right? So the people who are building on top of NEAR, other guilds. So it's really a cross collaborative effort in terms of building this community. So yeah.
Eunice, anything to add on top of that? Oh, I glitched there for a second. Eunice, do you have anything to add on top of that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, as Shreya said, kind of to detail, can you guys all hear me okay, by the way? I think my connection's lagging a bit. Okay. Essentially, the goal of what we want to do on a very concrete level is get all of the different projects building on NEAR and the NEAR core team initiatives synchronized into the sandbox. So a person can join the sandbox and they can say, whoa, look, Flux is about to launch mainnet. They need a translator for this task. They can say, look, Zrun has this going on. They need this going on. Mintbase, just released their version 1, and there's this opportunity. There's this, project, etc. And so it's kind of this like facilitated hub where the different projects in the ecosystem can source quick help, and then contributors or people that want to help out in the ecosystem can be rewarded in one way or another for lots of smaller projects and also larger initiatives as well. That's, I guess maybe this goes to the second part. The second thing we wanted to discuss then, which is more what kind of activities we envision being available in the sandbox and kind of how we foresee everyone interacting with one another. Shreyas or Yanish, do you guys want to prequel that and kind of go a little bit into the activities or kind of what kind of work or engagement we hope to have in the sandbox?
Yeah, Eunice, do you want to do that up?
Yeah, I can introduce a little bit first. So basically, Sandbox is more like a collective effort from everybody, and then we're actually like whenever there is like newcomers like joining us and they're interested in being like a future guild leader or like have their own project, and they can use it as like a springboard, and then like to try out things, to meet everybody, and to find out like their focus or strength. So I think for like at this stage, like at the initial stage, we probably need like some contribution from you guys, and then to see if there are any examples of tasks that's from you, and then that you also like need help from other people, and then like need help from like the sandbox people, and then you can also like share your idea with us. And then for now, things that I could think about is probably like around design, like moderation, like moderation or self-moderation, because like in some of our channels, they're actually like sometimes they're quite quiet, and then so like it could be helpful as well. And then also some other things like technical stuff or like even like social media or translation, like these all items, they are also like welcome to put in to our like sandbox initiatives. But then it's more like a training stage, and then like to try, like for people to try out things. So we're also like open up to like ideas from you guys, and then to see like if there's anything that's like mutually beneficial for both parties. Yeah, like see Shreyas if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, Shreyas I think lost connection, but he should reconnect in a second. The basic idea here is that there is going to be a collection of rolling initiatives that's supported by the NEAR community team. So for contributors to engage in on the monthly, but then contributors / guilds / the different people engaged are also going to be free to put forward their own projects and receive rewards for them according to kind of the model that we define to kind of keep people involved over the long term. So a big thing that went into the design of the sandbox that's going to be slowly kind of released as we try to scale it up is that we want the reward system to be based on a consistent commitment to the protocol, and also ideally based upon including or collaborating with other people in the sandbox as well. And so these are details that are being finalized now that are going to be coming out in the coming weeks. And so right now we're kind of at a stage where we want to try to get as many people as possible to start buying into the idea of having this collective hub on NEAR where everything can kind of be sourced and shared and developed in one place. And then with that kind of core infrastructure, we're going to bring in a reward system, we're going to bring in the different projects, we're going to bring in some form of governance system and slowly kind of ship it out into cyberspace. It probably Q2 of this year is what it seriously look like. So it's going to be a process. It's going to take some time to kind of get there. The most important thing though is that we have ecosystem buy-in from anyone who wants to build this type of digital city on NEAR. I think that's kind of the most important point here. This can't work if the different projects and the different guilds and the different people don't want to have this type of initiative for the ecosystem. And so it will take a certain amount of time and effort from people's day-to-days and what they're normally doing. But in the long term, the goal being, in 1, 2, 3 years, hopefully the hub will turn into a really, really important place for sourcing new talent, for building new things, for growing your guild, for doing new cool things in the NEAR ecosystem. And that's kind of the underlying vision of why we're doing what we're doing now. So Shreyas, Eunice, do you guys have anything more to kind of add on that topic?
Yeah. So yeah, I was just going to say that what this concretely looks like. So, I mean, we've all been engrossed in this conversation about Sandbox, so we have this idea and everything sorted out fairly well. But for those of you who are new to this call and haven't heard of this before, which is understandable, we've not done a great job at communicating things within the NEAR ecosystem very well. But the idea is that we will have a Discord server, which is called the NEAR Sandbox. And this will be a place that you can join in, and it has different channels and categories and sections. So if you're interested in design, you can join the design channel. You can subscribe to notifications, all of those things. If you're interested in marketing, you're interested in I don't know, NFTs, etc., right? So you'll have like a bunch of different categories that you can really participate in. And from an ecosystem project perspective, what this probably looks like is a comparison that I can give is Bounties Network or Gitcoin, right? Where a project comes in and says, you know what, I want to do X or Y within my project. And most of these teams are very early stage teams, right? So let's say, Mintbase or Flux or any of these teams, right? These people have like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 people in-house. But imagine a state where they can like leverage the power of the entire NEAR community, right? And say that, okay, I want to do X, but I don't have a full-time marketer or a full-time translator. Or if they want to do a specific campaign, let's say a Mint-based NFT campaign targeted at the Philippines, right? So possibly, Orward and his group here can help them, right? So that's the level of the tasks and campaigns that we're sort of thinking about. So just wanted to like give out some of those examples so that you can hopefully be able to like relate with it a little better.
And I think more in terms of the long term here, I think also we want to use the sandbox as kind of a seedbed for new guilds or new forms of collaboration for the long haul in the ecosystem. So, if there's a lot of people who they want to run a guild, but they might not have a group of people that they want to do the guild with, or they might not, know exactly how they want to expand it. The idea is you come to the sandbox, you kind of can engage with it for a while. You might meet some people, you might get on a project that's really cool, and then you might say, hey, this is really awesome. Let's scale this up. Let's create our own guild and let's launch as our own vehicle in the NEAR ecosystem. So the opportunity is going to be very big in the sandbox, especially in the early days. It's a lot going to be about getting the right people to join it, meaning the right people, the people committed to the long-term growth of the ecosystem, and then trying to get all the different projects to buy into it, including members of the NEAR core team who are going to, interface with it and also be able to source, developer talents for short tasks or things like that they might need help building. So yeah, that's kind of, I think where we stand. Eunice, Shreyas, if you guys don't have anything more to add, we could do maybe like 4 or 5 minutes of questions. If you guys have any questions, and then otherwise we'll continue on the forum and try to keep this kind of like rolling as we continue.
Actually, I want to ask, the sandbox will be occur in the Discord channel, or it will be a separate website for the sandbox?
Yeah, so this was a good question that kind of we had to consider a decent amount. The idea is that we're going to have a separate Discord channel, because kind of with the intention of having it grow into itself over the coming months as we try to get more and more people involved in it. So we didn't want to put it as like one sub channel of the NEAR Discord, because then if it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it can get kind of messy with lots of different people trying to talk in one space. So we have a separate Discord channel. Well, the link is on the Gov forum, and ideally, you jump in there, and we're going to try to keep it open and broad for now, and then as we kind of get more people involved, more rolling rewards, more projects bought in, we'll iterate and make it more sophisticated and developed. So yeah, but that's a good question.
Okay, Michael, I think you should write this down, because it's not clear what the sandbox was until now. Maybe you can write this down in a GitHub repo and pin it in the announcement channel in the Discord. mainly what is very clear is that you state use cases. Let's say I'm a developer. Well, if you are a developer, you can do this, this, this. I have a project, you can do this. I'm a designer, I'm a translator. All those use cases and where to ask, where to propose, so people can understand what the sandbox is, because it's not clear until now.
I think that's a great point. Shreyas, do you have anything you wanted to add to that, kind of either in response or to complement what he added, what he said?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a great question. I think we do have a blog post at this point, which sort of details out most of this, and there's also a video that sort of walks through the different structures within the sandbox itself. But I think now it's on to us to sort of publicize that a little more and share it with the wider community, so that it really. So I think the video is really great because it gives you a walkthrough of what are the different channels within the sandbox and what is the intended use case, right? Like if there's a design channel, what could that possibly, how do we envision that evolving, right? So I think that's something that we're doing. And a quick pitch on the last part, what you mentioned is I'm actually building, or like I'm actually we have a bounty up for a website, which is very similar to this website. I've just put it on the chat from Mozilla. It's called whatcanIdo4mozilla.org. It's a very, I think, intuitive way for a new contributor to really understand what are the different contribution pathways within the ecosystem and how can I sort of contribute to that, right? So our version of that looks like this. It's not ready yet, as you can probably see, but we also have like a bounty up for that. So if you're interested in like helping map out some of these contribution pathways, or if you want to like help with the building of this, do respond to the bounty. I will find a link to that and leave it in the chat. But yeah, Michael, go ahead.
I think the only thing I would add to that, also in response to what Lucio said, is that the goal is to kind of launch this. We still have to kind of fine tune a lot of the core structures dealing with the rolling rewards and dealing with kind of what kind of engagements concretely we want to make easily available in the sandbox. So while we start to publish more information about it, that will hopefully scale as we also kind of figured out specifically the reward structure for how it's going to operate, the kind of engagement and the governance of it as well, and how that can develop over time. So to kind of answer what you said, Lucio, I think you're absolutely right. We will be posting, I think, much more detailed overview of, on a very, very concrete level, exact use cases that are available, exact rewards you can expect, exact structures for how that goes. This is just still a very early process, and we're just trying to kind of introduce everyone to it now, because like I mentioned before, this only works if the ecosystem buys into it as well. So that's, I guess, kind of moving forward over the next week to month. By the end of Q1, we'd ideally like to have everyone aware of what is happening here, a reward scheme built out, public, for people to comment on and discuss what they think about it, and then hopefully kind of active rolling rewards entering into the Discord channel itself to try to get some people to start to enter it and onboard.
Okay, I have a couple of projects and I'm entering beta now, so it will be nice if I can publicize that in the sandbox, but it will be nice also if I have some kind of mechanisms previously designed on how to communicate and where to communicate it.
Yep, that's a great point. I think right now there's a channel in the sandbox called Collaboration. We've kept it broad in that sense, and then I think as it's going to be a process of execute and iterate, right? So as we figure out what the demand is, as we see how many projects there are, we might add more channels, we might take away some channels, etc. But for now, I think if you can comment on that post on the forum and just drop exactly what you said, so we can kind of keep a memory of how this is evolving as it shapes up across the board. That would be very helpful, I think.
Okay, great. I'll start posting and eventually we will have a method.
Perfect. Yep. So Shreyas.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
Go ahead, Shreyas. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Michael. No. I was just gonna say that like Michael said, right? I mean, all of this is still under construction. There's this huge, work in progress sign. Just imagine us, wearing those jackets with the work in progress signs. But the idea is to also like build this out in public, right? So we'll discuss all of this on the governance channel, be it rewards, be it processes, be it, whatever, right? How do you propose things? How do you start working on tasks? All of this will be discussed on the governance channel. And the hope is that, more and more people become interested in various aspects of this and start taking ownership. So if you're interested in the governance side of things, if you have experience and have, strong views about how things should be run, all of that, do participate in the governance channel on the Sandbox program. We can definitely, we're more than, so this is not centralized is what I'm trying to say. We're more than welcome. We're very welcoming in terms of, what you want to contribute to, and would really appreciate if you all jump in and add your thoughts.
And I think maybe just the final point to close off is that, to build on that, there's a lot of opportunity here. So if you tell your friends, tell people who are in crypto, who might not have known how they could have gotten into NEAR right now. When the Sandbox launches, there's going to be some very, very, there's going to be a window of opportunity before it becomes super popular, where the really committed people in the ecosystem can like get in at the ground floor and really help build out some of the core infrastructure, and also, win pretty decently as well. So that's kind of what we're hoping to create here. So if anyone has any final comments, feel free to add them now. Otherwise, I think we can close this out. All good. All right. Oh, sounds good. Okay. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys jumping on. We'll let you guys know next time we do another call. It'll probably be after an announcement of some type of, a new reward scheme or a new governance scheme. Shreyas, do you want to add to that?
I think we'll definitely keep you all updated. Again, we're trying to find out what the best channel to do this is, but I would highly recommend you go to the Sandbox and at least like subscribe to the announcements channel, because that's probably one way we can, streamline the announcements related to the Sandbox.
That's right. All right. With that, you guys have a good day. Thanks for jumping on, and we'll see you next time. So take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Thank you.